good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is your man Hastags dropping some hot frog on this mic. Today we're going to be covering Sonic Frontiers, and this one is a bit interesting. This article apparently talks about things like, you know, the new open world level design and all that stuff, alongside combat and just the mention of it, which is kind of funny because I made that video talking about Sonic's combat, and now a lot more people seem like they're on the wave of being worried about the combat, which, I mean, that's obviously not me. That's a realization I think a lot of people were going to come to. But if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. Before we dive into this article, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, follow your boy on Twitter. We're trying to get to 400 followers, and follow your boy on TikTok. We're trying to get to 100 followers. But let's just dive right into this. So this article and interview is on Games Radar, and it says, with Sonic Frontiers, Sega is focused on bringing Sonic to the next level. Big in 2022, Sonic Frontiers will leverage PS5 and Xbox Series X for a high fidelity, high speed, and high energy experience. So first off, it says it's difficult to know what to make of Sonic Frontiers. Sega is promising an expanded adventure, a leap forward for a franchise that has long struggled to find its footing with a third dimension in play, yada yada yada. Yes, as so far shown little of it outside of a reveal trailer in the last weeks of 2021. But there is a reason to believe that Sonic Frontiers will succeed where Sonic the Hedgehog, referring to Sonic 06, Sonic Unleashed, and Sonic Forces failed, which a lot of people are going to be like, wow, why are they putting Unleashed with those games? It's because Unleashed is like 75% Werehog with like 40-minute stages for a Sonic game. There's a reason why a lot of people don't like that game. But to continue, for starters, Sonic Team is being built, or I'm assuming it's meant to say the next Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers, is being built with new-gen consoles in mind, leveraging the power of the PS5 and Xbox Series X to support the ambitions to deliver a true open zone experience, which has me thinking. Now, one of the terms they use is this open zone experience thing throughout the article again and again and throughout the interview. And I think the reason they're not saying open world is I think this world is split into multiple zones. You know, we know for a fact that we're on the Starfall Islands or Starfall Isles. So what I'm assuming is this is going to be something like how previous games have worked, you know, where every island is, I guess, a different theme. Again, we've only seen this one island or this one subset of islands in the trailer. And from what I'm thinking, I think we're probably gonna be set in cyberspace, with each one being some vastly different theme. That's all I have to say on that right now before we keep moving. We're excited to bring the game onto next-gen consoles, as both the visual and technical gameplay elements will be elevated on the newest platforms. As games are beginning to be released natively onto next-gen, it's exciting to be a part of the wave that will really deliver on the full potential of these consoles, high fidelity, high speed, and high energy games, says Sonic Team's creative officer Takashi Iizuka, which I think the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions are definitely going to be ports of the PS4 and Xbox One versions, because this is also coming out on Switch, because again, it'd be stupid for them to not release this on Switch, considering I think every Sonic game that's released this generation has done the best on Switch. Most people bought those games on Switch, regardless if they were the best ports or not. They bought them on Switch. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. Hopefully they're making the game with, I guess, the Switch in mind, and then scaling every single other version up from there. Maybe they're using the PS4 and base Xbox One as a base, and then going in both directions either way from those versions. We may never know. Maybe the next generation versions have, you know, special features like ray tracing, high frame rate modes, etc., which I'd expect something along those lines. If not ray tracing, at least high frame rate modes. That would make the most sense in a Sonic game. But I don't know. Let's continue. Sonic Frontiers is set across the Starfall Islands, an open-ended playground for high velocity action. Sonic Team is essentially working from scratch here, reworking all of Sonic's core movements and actions to better fit the expanded playable space. From Iizuka's perspective, there were lessons learned from 2017 Sonic Forces, but the ambition behind Sonic Frontiers has pushed the team to reconsider everything. So what I think happened was Sonic Forces was a test. From what we know, a lot of the people who worked on Sonic Forces were new to Sonic Team. Don't quote me on that. And because of that, they probably were given this as a test, and they probably needed the bar set a lot higher for them to create something a lot higher quality. Now, they talk about Sonic's core movements and actions being made to fit an open world better, so hopefully we get a lot more complexity in this game than we have with previous entries in the franchise, because one of the things that I fear is that the game world might get boring. You know, Sonic games are simple because they're level based. They don't need more complexities to, you know, really flesh out the world, because every level's unique. You can design every world to be unique. You're not constantly in the game world, whereas something like this you are. I don't know, let's continue. Sonic Forces, the team set out to create a compilation of high-speed Sonic action games that flip the usual Sonic storyline on its head, taking place in a world where the evil Dr. Eggman had prevailed. Then a new storyline and world, we created new Sonic environments and characters like the villain Infinite. With Sonic Frontiers, we are challenging ourselves to deliver an all-new style of Sonic action adventure. We're once again expanding the Sonic universe, bringing in new environments and additional features to create a totally new type of open zone experience. Again, they use open zone. That makes me think this is going to be more akin to something like, I guess, Monster Hunter, where you have different zones on a really big map, and you get to play within those really big zones, which I wouldn't be totally opposed to. And I think they're doing this open zone experience because they have to have the Switch in mind. Like, really, how much can you do on the Switch with an open world game if you don't have the same API level access that you have, that like Nintendo has? Especially when the game is not being made exclusively for Switch, but with other platforms in mind, like PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series S and S, and PC. One of the biggest questions hanging over Sonic Frontiers is whether it be set throughout a fully open world or whether the various biomes of Starfall Isles will be self-contained. Sega has been careful with its language so far, referring to the 2022 release as being set in the franchise's first ever open zone inspired experience, explaining that it will offer open zone freedom. When I asked Iizuka for clarity, he's only willing to confirm that further details will be coming soon. We don't have too much more to share regarding the environment just yet, but stay tuned for more details this year. The information will be key for Sonic Frontiers. The landscapes we've glimpsed so far are beautiful, dense forests, sparkling waterfalls, and sizzling desert expanses, and I hope we'll be able to race through these areas and others without breaking a sweat or hitting a loading screen. I'm particularly keen to see whether the power of the new gen tech and a proficiency with last gen consoles can finally provide Sonic with a playground large enough to properly bring his relentless pursuit of speed to life. So there's not a ton to really unpack here. We know that this is going to be an open zone experience, which I'm assuming this is like, they're just really big hubs, bro. That's all I have to say. These just have to be really big hubs. These can't be anything that are too complex, and I say that because of consoles like the Switch or even the Xbox One and the PS4. You gotta take into mind who all has the console to play this, and if they release it on the current gen technically now, it could be alienating a lot of people, especially since we know that they kind of want to target the Japanese audience. Because they want to target that audience, the only platform that's really dominating in Japan is the Switch. Yes, you can release it on the PS4, but even in the PS4, isn't doing as hot as like the PS3 or PS2 did. So honestly, I think we should expect something a little less Breath of the Wildy in terms of how big the world is, and more something like I guess a Monster Hunter. You have big zones where you're able to travel and go across and, you know, do all your stuff, and ultimately use Sonic in this big playground. But instead of acting as like, I guess, one massive open world, there are a bunch of massive levels, which I think is cool. I mean, Mario Odyssey did the same thing, and I think that game is amazing. I mean, I don't think anybody would be hard pressed to tell me that it's not amazing. I mean, again, when you're looking at how games are going, the open world and the open zone style of game is actually taking off a lot more recently. I think it works really well for platformers. It's just the way Sonic games are designed, it going to open world could make or break it. But let's move on. After all, Sonic is at his best when he's able to move really damn fast and without interruption, pummeling the creations of Dr. Eggman without losing speed. Iizuka tells me that bringing Sonic's signature speed and combat abilities to life in larger areas is among Sonic Team's greatest challenges. We focused on bringing Sonic to the next level and ensuring that he's fully represented as the character that fans know and love, while still making his new form exciting. Again, this is something I've covered in the past. Combat is now going to be a bit bigger focus more so now than ever, because you have this open world style game, and because the levels aren't really linear, or at least the focus isn't on linear sections, gotta spice up the world somehow. And I feel like combat is going to be the way they spice it up. There are going to be many purists out there who's going to be like, where are the loops? Where's the momentum based platforming? Shut up. As long as it's good, Sonic's going fast, combat's great, we just need a good Sonic game right now. And if this flips it on its head and everybody loves it, I'm fine with that. Overall, they need to really take combat into account when making an open world game, because that's really what makes open world games feel like they're alive, I guess, in a sense. And if you're playing a Sonic game, you also don't want speed to be hindered, and there's always this balance between combat and speed. There's a reason why like a lot of games like Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, and Sonic 06 have issues, and that's because you have to stop to do combat anytime you do combat, and that's a big no-no. Again, I covered this in my Sonic combat video, so you should check that out. We pay extremely close attention to getting all the little Sonic details right to make sure that Sonic's signature speed and characteristics may remain consistent across every gaming iteration. That's cap, says Iizuka. With Sonic Frontiers, we'll introduce new combat styles to bring Sonic's signature dexterity onto the battlefield, and the new exploration options obviously play into his iconic speedy nature. Sonic Frontiers is set to launch later this year, although Sega isn't quite ready, blah blah blah. Just talking about who's all working on it: Morio Kishimoto, Iizuka, Ian Flynn, all those big names. So how do I feel about all this? Well, I'm glad that they're taking combat and exploration into consideration and also trying to maintain Sonic's speedy nature. See, these are all things that you have to balance in a Sonic game for it to be right or feel right. In the 2D games, it was all about slopes and, the loop-de-loops. Whereas with the modern games, it's all about the cadence and the way you get through the stage and dodging obstacles in Sonic's way. I just never felt like when Sonic focused on the enemies that the gameplay was any better for it. Oftentimes it just made it worse. I'm gonna be real. But with that being said, I want to know how you guys feel about this in the comment section down below. Do you feel like it's a good thing that they're focusing on combat and exploration with this game? What would you like to see in terms of these open zones? Are you hoping for some variety with these open zones? Because I think what's gonna ultimately happen is that we're gonna have really big hubs to explore, like a Mario Odyssey or a Monster Hunter. And ultimately with these big zones, Sonic will be able to explore the world. He has platforming challenges along the way, and they build goals and stuff along this world to essentially keep the cadence of both speed and combat going. Again, 3D Sonic games are more about cadence than anything else. This has been your man Hastags. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video out with your friends. Remember, Hot for Aga turns to Cold Blizzaga. Make sure you chill out some of my other videos. Peace. Have a good one.
See you.